Sometimes when we think about creating more joy in our lives, it can feel quite trite, especially when we're thinking about our working lives, and especially maybe when we're working in challenging situations. I know I recently spoke at a conference about this subject, and I was speaking to people working in the public sector in the UK. It's a sector that we know has got a lot of challenges. And so why was I speaking to people who have got such big cognitive loads and so many things going on about joy? The fact of the matter is that if we are thinking about well-being, the really well-known PERMA model from Martin Seligman talks about positive emotion. And when we experience positive emotion, if we can increase our diet of positive emotion, then we are going to increase our well-being. And that happens at work as well. Actually, when we experience positive emotion, it generally lowers our level of cortisol. It actually helps us have things like oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine. And it can help our brain be into more of a reward state, which cognitively can be more effective. So when we're in highly stressful situations, when we've got a lot of cognitive demands, that switch into the positive can help us to do better work. So there is a psychological reason, a neuroscience reason why we may want to have more joy. Equally, that self-connection. We know, again, all of us can spiral, can't we? And when we are really stuck in problem thinking, what can happen is we're building and building and building our noradrenaline, our adrenaline, our cortisol, our nervous system is activated, and therefore cognitively, it's so much harder to find a solution. So those little elements of joy can help reset and open up our thinking. So how do we find them? Again, I get people to think about, what are those things that can just instantly brighten up their day? Honestly, one of my top tips is looking at photographs of my family and my loved ones. I remember when I was having my first child, and I created a little slideshow so that when I was in pain, I was looking at these and it was making me smile, and it was helping me a little bit of the pain control. Not all. It didn't just make me not feel it, but it helped, because actually positive emotion can support in terms of pain as well. Now, I'm not an expert on that, but I know there is evidence it can. So thinking about those little pick-me-ups, it doesn't need to be something huge. So maybe it's looking at a photo, maybe it's having a particular image. Art can be fantastic actually for giving us joy. One of my clients likes watching specific dog videos on the internet. She loves it. It gives her joy. We know there's a Leeds University study that says that when we watch cute animal videos, it reduces our level of cortisol, reduces stress, really effective for our brain and our body and our immune functioning. I like to think about it what can we do that will take us less than a minute, that will just give us some joy? So maybe it's playing our favorite song. Maybe we might play it for more than a minute when we put it on. Maybe it is watching something that will make us laugh. Maybe it is sending our friend a funny voice note. Maybe it is having our favourite drink. Whatever it may be, what is something really, really simple, really, really micro that can give us joy in that moment? Maybe it's somebody that you're connected with at work that you can just go over and say hi to. It doesn't need to be really, really significant. Then what will take me 10 minutes? What are the things that I need to be more intentional about? So if I'm thinking this is my 1 minute, my 10-minute bursts, I can do those during the day really easily. Those can help give me a reset. And maybe you've had a really bad meeting at work. Sometimes it's just going into the toilets, giving yourself a reset, doing some breathing, just really connecting in with what does my system need right now? What can make me smile again? And then you're thinking about those more intentional things. So maybe it's something that's going to take half an hour or an hour, but maybe you need to plan into your week as well. So you can think about, okay, is it connection with people? Is it connection with myself? What are those things that I know are going to make me feel good? And how can I put them in? And what is realistic for me? And I think this is where we can sometimes get, again, into this idea that we have to do loads more. Okay, if we can have 2 half-an-hour slots of something that we love doing in our week, that's going to make you feel a lot better than not having any. So maybe that's going to a dance class. Maybe that is, actually getting to work half an hour earlier and having a coffee with that person that always makes you laugh. Maybe it's watching something on Netflix that is funny. Again, thinking about something that really connects with you. What I would say to you is be intentional with the diet that you feed your brain. Think about what your mind and your body need to connect with yourself and to make you feel good. Doesn't mean that you're not going to feel those other emotions, but if you can sprinkle some more joy, some more happiness into your life, your well-being is going to go up, your performance is going to go up, you're going to be moving more towards thriving. And yes, it's not going to mean that your workload is suddenly going to decrease. It's not going to mean that your boss is suddenly going to be your best friend, but it's going to mean that you have more capacity to cope with those things. But like anything, start small. Do things that you know you can. Even 5 minutes a day, even 10 minutes a day will make a huge difference. So I'd love to know what is in your joy diet.